Good morning and welcome to Morning Light Radio. We have some sun out today and a blue sky. And today is a little bit different, a little bit out of the ordinary, because I usually don't do Morning Light Radios unless I am heading to work. And today I decided to go ahead and do it from home, but I wanted to maintain some integrity of the show. And so I decided to make sure that I have and lose my connection for my quality and some unnecessary background sounds like uh, like wind here. But wow, it feels really nice to just be sitting here facing the sun, feeling the wind, drinking some yerba mate tea, and really just relaxing. Gonna try to do what I normally do on this morning talk, and hopefully we'll have some friends drop in. I have left the link in the chat, so in Rumble. So if anybody would like to spread some good morning wisdom, that would be fantastic. Or kind of help set some intentions or intent. If I need to clarify that. And this shows it's not produced whatsoever. I'm just speaking through my headphones. I got plenty of pretty dang good quality mics as far as a few $100 could afford you these days. But the goal is to kind of open things up, allow things to come forth. Just be here, be now with my imaginary friends, sharing a slice of the pie. Aligned in a similar way through our points of perception. Calling out to the rare and less rare humans, that are interested in a very unique course of action, or even a course of non-action. Rather than a doing and undoing. Allowing the fulfillment of the now to take place. Got the sun on my face, and it's intense and warm, and my face is hot, and I have my eyes closed, and there's this orangish, reddish energy that, based on my focus, can be smooth or highly pixelated or granulated or atomized. Atomized, I don't know if that's a word, but I don't really care. I'm fine with making up words and saying things that mean nothing. And I got a cool message here. It says, Happy Pi Day from Avuncular Micah. Happy Pi Day to you. Oh, and I'm noticing that I can, I clicked on the message, I can do things like I could star the comment, or I could put the user in timeout. We won't put you on timeout. You haven't been that naughty. How are you doing, Avuncular? If there's anybody out there, Avuncular on YouTube. I think he is the only avuncular on the internet. Looks like I also have a guest waiting in the StreamYard jail. Should we let him in? I say yes. I like guests.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Light Radio. Or maybe it's Candlelight Radio for you.
No, it's still just a little bit of light where the sun goes down in about an hour or so. But again, just listening to how gentle things are at this time of the morning, it's quite beautiful to listen to.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to do this, not driving and sitting in the sun with maybe way too big of a jacket on. So, you think I was in Scotland with this parka-sized jacket?
You're just
Actually, I'm.
preparing for the worst.
Yeah, you know what I was doing? I grabbed this jacket because I was hoping like the hood was gonna block some of the wind and keep the mic from being too um, irritating for people to listen to. And
Yeah,
yeah, and then I'm like, oh, I don't want to move. So I got this little outside lounger, and I'm just putting my feet up.
cool, man.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. I get a little bit of vitamin D on my fingertips and my nose. The rest of my body's covered up. How was your day, man? Tell me about the magic of your day.
The day was beautiful because the weather was beautiful and the cycle was beautiful. The people were beautiful. Uh, my attitude was beautiful. Uh, yeah, I think beautiful is just a great word for today.
It's a
And I've got my
beautiful
medication.
description.
Yeah, I've got my medication. I'm stocked up for another week and looking forward to vibrating through the weekend.
Oh, that's great. Last when we were chatting last night, you were mentioning that you had a kind of a cool bike ride to go on to collect some things
Yeah,
that you needed, and you were discussing about how you were going, how you drive through the neighborhood and beyond, and you engage people with your smile and
yeah.
an acknowledgement as well. And how did that go?
That goes as it's always sort of goes. People can feel some sort of intrusion even with a smile. Uh, but obviously, it's definitely with a purpose in mind. And sometimes when I maybe feel a negative vibration from just a glance to gently say hello to the energy of someone's, if you're in someone's distance, I just say inside, I love you. So if I maybe get like a not good look, or I try and open a door for someone and someone's very dismissive of my positive vibration or energy, and I can sense that from them that they don't like the look or the smell of this big hippie monster. Inside, I just sort of say, I love you, man.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's usually
That's nice.
99 times out of 100.
Yeah, somebody will need that smile from you. That's the beautiful thing.
Well, it was strange this morning. The shop that I got to at one point was, yeah, I wanted to ask the girl the 3 or 4 times I've been there. They've been late in opening, and there was a gentleman who walked past us. There was people waiting outside the shop, and there was a gentleman who walked past us, and just the way he was dressed, he'd this like rainbow wool knitted hoodie, and he was carrying a couple of little bags. I thought he was going to open the shop. And I just said in Dutch, "Good morgen, eh?" But it was now lunchtime. I was trying to, I was a little bit of Dutch humour. I try that sometimes. And 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 he totally dismissed me. And I just took it as, oh, he's late. He wants to get the shop open. He's not getting any time to joke with the customers. He's late. And I see him go to try the door to open the door, and it doesn't open. And I'm like, oh, he's a customer. He's not going to open the shop. So he walks past me and he sort of like looks at me just for a second, puts his head down and walks to his car just across the street. So I'm like, right, okay, don't think anything of it. And then another 2 or 3 people coming in. The next minute, the man shouts, "Hey!" I was like, "Yeah." And he says all in Dutch that he just called the owner of the shop. They're not going to open for another hour, so there's no point in waiting. And with a nice Dutch greeting and a little prayer sign, we exchanged a beautiful vibration at that point, you know. And I just cycled to another shop in Nijmegen and got medicine from a different shop. So all good.
Yeah, so interesting. So this kind of like took some time for the person to warm up, or maybe he just had an icy disposition.
He was very dismissive. He seemed a little bit uninterested, and when he was walking back from the shop, I could tell that he wasn't wanting to communicate, and I was cool by that. He's went and sat in his car for 15 or 20 minutes, and he's seen all these people starting to stand outside the shop. He's like, you know what? I'm calling the owner. Then came out his car to let everybody know there's no point in waiting about. They ain't going to be out for another hour.
That's nice.
But it just sort of shows you, though, that your first impressions will never, ever be correct. So even on the flip side of that, when I'm like, maybe being a gentleman, holding the door open, giving a nice look to someone, sort of like maybe someone's struggling, and I'll give that sort of vibration, like, don't worry about it, we all have those sort of days. And they maybe give a nice receptive feeling back to me. Deep inside, they're maybe like, fuck you. But I always do think it's not about the popularity part of the egotistical side of ourselves who want to try and push this little bit of energy out. It's always to do with the purpose behind it. You know, it's not really about maybe what you'll get back. It's always about what you can give.
I don't know if I was thinking about it this morning or I know it was recently. That we use our imagination to imaginarily think for other people. And so that's
Yes.
like the first impression thing, right?
Yeah, I know, but it's oh man.
Yeah, it is really interesting because we have these social cues. We have these social cues that we abide by, and then we and that we interpret, right?
Yeah, I'm laughing at something that's coming back as a sort of like a flashback almost. That I was deep into a medicinal night one night, and I've used this phrase before now as my own. But he said to me, and real serious, round a fire, everybody's in their own zone, and he just reached over and he grabbed me, and I really felt the grip. And he said, "Do you think? And do you think that's a problem?" I was like, I'm going. I said, I need to check out now. That's it. I'll need to get a different chessboard. I need to get a different chessboard. I'll need to reevaluate everything I've sought that I have evaluated, because do I think that's a problem? And then eventually there was some sort of conclusion to that where it was like, yes, I think. And yes, I do think it's a problem. Because there's no real need to think when you're naturally born and connected into the core of the ether of action, which is helping your neighbour, helping your community, planting some food, making some soup for the family. There's no real thinking in that. That's automatic human nature. There you go. I've said it. Human nature, that real thing.
Yeah,
it's so distorted.
There's a saying that my dad shares with me, and he says, you know, there's, I don't know if it's like a Buddhist question or a Taoist question, or, you know, what do you do after you eat your breakfast?
Yeah.
You wash your bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's simple. It's simple, and you don't need to think about these simple things. It's not so complex. But now you may have to unthink some things, undo some things, which is interesting enough because that's kind of where my rambling took me earlier when I kind of first got on, is the undoing. And the undoing is not necessarily action oriented whatsoever. Not necessarily, I say, depending on um, how roped down or tethered your doing is. You may have to find different strategies to begin to undo them. How strong you know, your thoughts are to make assumptions on what people, feel about you or your presence. And I'm not
Yeah. Well,
talking
with it.
about really feeling, really, engaging. I'm talking
Yeah.
about that chattering of the mind, that quote unquote thinking that can often take people uh, into a way that either positively or negatively um, affirms the ego.
Yeah. Well, when I heard you speaking earlier on, and I don't agree with you, uh, it's not ramblings. You're, I would maybe describe it as unraveling your thoughts.
Oh my
And
gosh,
when you
I gotta just
and when
say,
you and when you
just,
mentioned,
just, I'll let you go. I gotta just say it though. Just the words, I don't agree with you. You know what? I wish I was more
yeah,
mature, my friend. I wish I was more mature, but just those words, just those words automatically, it's like guards up.
yeah, but you know something?
what did
But
what did what
it's
did I say that I have to defend?
it's I don't know what this thing is about me, but it's like you always know it's coming because it's usually sort of starts like, you know, I love you a lot, right? You know your good friends are the ones who tell you things, that sort of vibe, you know. But it wasn't harsh. It was just to say that when you're using certain words to describe yourself, use it in a deep, meaningful, purposeful way that others will understand that you recognize you. I didn't agree with ramblings. Definitely, maybe unraveling your thoughts. Uh, I don't really know
Yeah,
where I was
yeah,
going
I
with
just
that
had to have fun
now.
with that.
But
Because those
we
are
don't
the
take.
those are the little insights that I actually love. I mean, I love to be able to like see when I'm acting like like somebody that I don't imagine sometimes myself to be.
Well, it's strange. It's strange because I think in my pursuit of recognition of the trying to attain some sort of pain management, I discovered lots of little energy bound things that had more effect than I realized. And some of the terminology I was using to describe my condition, some of the symptomatic effects that I was using to describe my condition, then some of the words I was using in between that to fill in the spaces of maybe how I felt with all of those things on a random day, certain words were definitely a recognized energy drain. And all I really started doing was, well, what other word could I use there to describe that rather than that word? And just by really sort of like thinking a little bit, you would find another word, and the sentence has a different connotation. So when you sort of implement that into language, there's so many other physical and definitely spiritual ways where you can also just do things that feel more natural and smooth. But I don't know if this has been highlighted because of the many years now that I've been taking the medication, and and a lot of times I don't know why I see it or feel it or hear someone use a word, and I'm like, listen, don't use that word. That word's not a good word for you to use.
Yeah, I am actually slightly naturally resistant, and it's funny. And so, for whatever reason, I have this tendency to be resistant and argumentative, and sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's fun to have a good argument, and that was kind of like my tendency. Like, hearing your words, I wanted to explain. Well, one of the things I don't want to do is I don't want to, like, be overly attached to the connotations that someone may or may not have, and so this is kind of like, okay, would be my argument, and then I'm just like digesting what you're saying, and I understand that you are correct. I understand that there is momentum, and that by using specific words, it's like it's like the dead walking. It's like the dead walking. It's like freaking flatliners, or even worse, right? And so,
But
it's
the whole time, the whole
I'm happy, like, to realize. See, this is literally what I go into the Morning Light Radio for, is
yeah.
to find out something about myself. And boy, am I so fortunate when I have these things. And right now, you're like, ding, ding, ding. There's one. Ding, ding, ding. There's two. I think it's cool. I think it's so cool. I really do. I'm like, and sometimes, and I gotta say this, sometimes people think, oh, you're down talking to yourself, you're beating yourself up. I am not. I am excited. I am so excited and fortunate to be able to be confronted with some silly things that I do.
yeah.
I'm very happy to see them for what they are sometimes, and I don't always, but I'm happy when I do.
Good, because I've made a little list here.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, trust me, the list will get longer. The list will get longer before it gets shorter.
Oh, I would worry about myself if that's what I had started doing. It's like, can I contact you once the stream finishes?
Have
Oh,
you listened to any like Ram Dass stuff?
yes.
Yeah, how do you feel about his work?
I love everybody with that middle connection vibration of empathy, love, community vibes, and common sense.
Yeah, common sense.
A lot of this stuff's just so basic. And a lot of his techniques and stuff that he's been able to spread throughout this whole planet have saved people's psyches. Yeah. There's so many people like him on the planet. Yeah, there's a lot of people like him on the planet just now doing great work, absolutely phenomenal work.
Yeah, it is such a cool thing. Yeah, one of the reason why I brought him up was, he talked about his therapy work, his, I don't know if it's, what do they call that type of therapy? I'm not too sure. But he would describe, like, when he was working, with quote unquote patients, and he talked a lot about, who is really the patient.
Yeah.
And he said what he would do is focus on the person's forehead, or the area where you might believe there's a third eye, and he would often repeat the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. And if you anybody who might have done mantra work, you might find out that you can be engaged in a mantra salute, and also simultaneously do other things. But basically, what it seemed like, based on my interpretation, was that he was freeing himself from judgment.
Yes, but
yeah.
His pursuit of enlightenment led him exactly what you said, but in the pursuit to serve others. This is where I would probably agree totally with that fact that once you become, see, we are observers. We are observers. The OB, the ob. It's the opposite OB, but the serve part. There's all this seeing, observing, then there's action. That's what he is. He's action. He's about serving others, but he's here for us.
And interesting as well is, I don't know if I want to call it a strategy, but we'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Part of his strategy that he described was he didn't want to get attached to the certain things, I guess, that the person that he was working with was clinging to. And so he felt that if he wasn't attached to those things, that the person seeking assistance could also were more likely to not increase their attachment to things and maybe decrease their attachment to whatever it might have been that they were somehow engaged in a most likely negative way. And these, you said, do you think that's a problem? And this is kind of where this is going in my own head.
Yeah.
And the answer for most people probably be like, I don't know if it's a problem. And of course that's, maybe in the pre-stages of knowing thyself, maybe, possibly, or maybe the thought process is so broken that the problem cannot be identified from the inside, and it takes something to change, something to be introduced.
Well, at a higher level, like elite sports, in some kind of elite sports at a high level, they will tell you there's sometimes no time to think, only react.
Oh, this is a good morning.
There's this inbuilt sort of like sense of reflex, and you can put that towards when it's maybe a literal thing, when it's in a sports sense, of physical, spiritual reflex.
Primal instinct.
Primal instinct.
Good
Surprise.
morning. That was, so
I
that
wanted
is a
to.
surprise. But I didn't see you, and then I heard you first. Good morning, man.
Good morning.
How are you
Good
doing? Good.
morning. How is my mystery art creator light
I am doing
exuberator?
great. I
Thank you. Stop me. Somebody stop me, please.
me and the wife, we actually signed a lease today and got keys to an apartment. So
Oh, great,
Oh,
man.
God bless
good
you,
feeling.
man. God bless you.
Well
I
done,
had
man.
before you guys jumped on the show last night. I had my cousin come in to do some meditation, and he also just very recently he went from living in his car to living in a place, and what a beautiful thing, man. I know it's rough. It's rough, man. I've
It's it's a
been
good
in and out
feeling,
of
man.
places for way too long this last few
I've lived out
years,
of a
and
duffel bag most of my life, It's just we enjoy those moments where we get a little bit of stability, and it's gonna be nice. We did the tour of the apartment, and as we were walking out to lock the door, uh, you could smell the nature. You can smell the pine trees. You can smell the grass. You can smell the
oh
air.
wow,
And I'm literally like, I would say probably 1,000 yards from a nice lake.
are you
Oh,
serious?
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yep.
sounds great, man.
Oh wow! And what is that lake?
I can't remember.
What does it function for? Is it a natural lake, or is it to feed um,
So where
a
I'm
water
at in
supply?
Washington, where I'm at in Washington, there's literally a lake in just about a stone's throw distance in almost every direction. It seems like it's a lot of rural highway to rural highway, just because there's trees, woods. You're in the Puget Sound of the Pacific Northwest Washington, so you're in all the island chains. All the inlets were affected by the tides. It's we get a lot of the rain over here, but super beautiful green moss trees, tall trees, beautiful. Just I love it.
How nice is that? Do the trees dance for you?
Oh yes, well, that's a fun story. If you vibrate high enough, you can get them to sink and dance as you will.
Yes, 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 yes.
It's like
So that's so
the
great, man. So you,
universal dance around us.
oh yeah, you just made me open my eyes, and I got a little bit of wind moving, and the trees are communicating.
Very nice. Yeah, it's a good little spot. It's good energy, good vibe. I can't wait to get all the stuff moved in. So today I'll be packing down the computer, getting it all broke down and stuff, and getting everything good to go.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be exciting. You got to set up shop, set up
Oh
shop.
yes, yeah.
We can get everything
I
juice it,
might
and
even
ready.
I might even have the adequate room to do, instead of doing a digital background, do my projector setup like I like to do again too.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool. You know, I gotta stop using your art for my thumbnails, man.
Well,
I
that's what
think
it's
it's set.
for.
Well, I think it sets the bar too high.
No,
It's
no, 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 no.
it's bringing too many people watching what's happening in the stream.
No. It inspires. It
Well,
inspires.
I didn't use your art in this one, so I shouldn't misguide
No, I
people. But
like
the one that I did, it catches people's interest.
like I tell people, my art that I make is
Oh
for
no, I
push.
did use your art on this one. I'm sorry. I'm confused as all hell. I did do it. Yeah.
For pushing the truth and the love and the light forward. That is why I make my art, and I don't hoard it. I share it as fast as I can, which doesn't seem to be appropriated to be fast enough. I mean, I can make it at light speed, but I can't get it out at light speed, it seems like. But that's why I do it. I do it. I make pictures for people to be inspired or take them and put a beautiful message on it and then reshare it around. That's
Yeah,
what
so for anybody who might be listening and you have the ability to do so, go to justmeartfan.com and buy a hoodie and
or a coffee cup
and
or a pillow or a blanket or a puzzle or slippers. Or
well, I really want them to buy the hoodie because I want them to email me a picture at apocryphalworldrecords at gmail.com because I really want to see someone sporting one of those badass sweaters. And
I can actually get somebody to do that for you. My man Melvin, that him and his wife Michelle run Uncommon Grounds. They actually purchased the first hoodie off of my website, and I'll tell you, he held it up in video for me and showed me, and I cried because it was so much better than just designing it on the computer. To see it blown up in real on the hoodie, it was just so much nicer than I imagined. I can't wait to be able to start to get on my feet again and be able to get some of my own products, like tapestries. I'd love to hang up my own tapestries in my house.
Yeah, how cool is that? Now, that brings me to my second commercial. Uncommon Grounds Mobile.
I'll have to find their link. What I'll do is I will get that link to you, and we can share it up on another show where we've got the correct information.
Yeah, I know. I had it in the description.
There's a few things that they are struggling with right now. Actually, there is another company with the same name out of New York, and they're based in Pennsylvania. Well, this guy in New York has taken outreach to want to go after all of the other companies over the idea and the presumption of an idea that he wants to expand. So is now taking all of the companies that have the similar name to court.
Wow. Big bank takes little bank type situation.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the Word Olympics, we have two final contenders. In the left corner, we have Struggle. In the right corner, we have Challenge.
Ding, 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 ding.
All being hidden under the guise of smoke and mirrors.
Oh, you were able to get in through the to the link in the chat, Russ?
Yeah, I had actually been told a couple of times, because you never know who's watching or in your chats. It's probably not wise to necessarily put the links for the private chat in there. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, well, bring it on. If we're vibrating high enough, we should be prepared to be handling anything that walks into the group.
Dude, I've been begging for haters.
But you gotta be careful too, because
don't worry,
you get a lot of that spam. You get a lot of that sex spam bot too.
Build it; they will come.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come indeed.
Do you know something? See, at the time, the GCHQ stuff, Russ. And for a long time, I got 3 or 4 associated haters who would come and leave me individual comments. There used to be a comment section in YouTube where you could just pass forward comments back to each other and back and forward, and they would just be constantly coming to just totally rip me to pieces on my, not on anything to do with appearance, on real issues that I was talking about, political
funded
stuff.
Opposition. It's funded opposition.
Yeah, well, have you heard of the Section 9?
Refresh me on it.
Section 9 are the full-time shared organisational computer sort of like trolls who would associate to on the small end of being a propagandist and get in amongst their channel. And what they used to do on YouTube was they used to come in and copy your channel. So if I was Planet Fargon would turn up somewhere else on YouTube being really abusive and being really horrible
Oh,
and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, they would basically you'd get a mirrored account and then they would start slandering to lead people away from the truth. Yeah, it's like an algorithm of a sentient paid AI system that's funding people to heinously attack people.
Do you know when I knew I was shadow banned when I did a live YouTube that was simply titled "Feral Cat and Her 4 Kittens," and I got 4 views. I knew it was my biggest clickbait ever.
Yeah, exactly. I said if you have any video with feral cats and you don't get 1,000 people in your live stream, there's something going on.
And the funny thing about that was that away in the background I had the radio on and you couldn't even hear it properly. It was really crackly on the audio, but I thought people would be interested even just in seeing the kittens and the cats. And then 2 days later, YouTube gave me a community strike because they had heard Bob Marley in the background. It's like, yeah, man, 4 views, community strike. Cool, man.
Yeah, Bob Marley, they don't...
Not community strike, copyright.
Yep, they're not going... Yeah,
we're on Rumble. On Rumble, I've been playing any music, all music.
Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say. I've figured out and devised a way around the algorithms because the algorithms are only based off of content that's put out in the immediate. Well, it's like become quantum at light speeds. Put out so much content so fast that they'll never be able to keep up. Even if they tried to mirror you and copy you, it would never be original because original is being produced at quantum speeds.
Yeah, I think you could achieve that. You have that. You have that velocity.
That's a good word, velocity, dude. I don't know why, but my whole life, my brain has just been like super velocity. It's like I can do like 35 things at once simultaneously when I'm streaming a podcast, as long as the StreamYard isn't crashing and I don't have to like babysit it profusely. And it's like I can make memes, I can source videos, I can share links, I can interact on X, I can do all my other social platforms all at the same time while I'm sharing art on my StreamYard, while I'm talking to other people, and have 2 phones running. I don't know how that works. I'm not even a computer guy. I started learning this in October of last year from a PowerPoint level in high school with computers, because it's quantum.
Could you explain what quantum means?
It means when you stop creating worry in your mind and projecting that out, and you be the embodiment of your dreams, your love, your light, your energy, and be wholesome in that. That is your piezoelectric crystals in your pineal gland vibrating with the emulation of that, your thoughts, feelings, vibrations, and then it projects it like a radio antenna out into the ether, into the field, and you are then vibrating in the quantum fields instead of into reaction of things that affect you. You are now affecting the quantum field. So you're taking control at that point.
So yeah, it's like sort of like the rather than EMC squared, it's like the minimal amount of energy needed for physical, biological, and spiritual transition.
Well, it's almost like wholesomely letting go and just riding in that divine wave of as it flows, because everything's in energy. Why not be in the flow of that energy?
Yes.
Because that's the state that we're most natural in, and we're born naked into this world in that most natural state before we're so indoctrinated into a system that's ancient and old.
So what do you think comes after quantum?
That would be, in my mind's eye, that would be uniting humanity as a collective in that vibrational consciousness. And
so do you think this could be the existential start of reset? Being in quantum mechanics and the quantum field could be a process of like the karma wheel clicking for a humanity reset.
So imagine, so in my theory, in my mind, okay, so the old world technologies that are hidden, and this is just a theory of how I think it works, is we used to vibrate very high. We were humanity ascended together in consciousness, and we were on a very brilliant vibration of life, creation, in the way we built things, everything. And all of those things that were suppressed so long, it's like, to me, when we vibrated very high collectively, that's to me is probably what powered the ether with the positive energy, but then was also activated collection towers of the old world grid system. Same with cathedrals being set up like computer chips, and windows set up like semantics based on principles of energy and frequency. Universal mathematics, not so much singularity like we have. Just so many things. I feel like when the human collective consciousness is united together, it not only raises the vibration, but it raises the Schumann resonance of this very plane that we live on.
Hallelujah.
I before you were saying this, a thought came into my head, and it doesn't relate to what you're just saying, or maybe it does, and I just don't know it. And I was thinking about the struggle versus the challenge word.
Yes.
And I think me and the Blunt Scotsman have had a few talks about semantics. And
Semantics.
what's that?
I love semantics. That's like one of my favorite. So one of my favorite topics in the whole world is because I know energy is everything. Sound, vibration, light and sound are on the same scale of measurement. And inside of that,
it's interesting because it does become a rabbit hole. And like I would just wanted to very quickly share my rabbit hole because instead of saying problem, you use the word challenge. It's kind of like 101 in the positive thinking world. And what I noticed recently, and this has been maybe, I've noticed it for sure within the last few months, is now I'm looking for a replacement for challenge. A challenge lost its luster for me for specific things. And so now I'm looking for how can I go beyond? How can I be more powerful than that word?
More powerful than challenge. More powerful than challenge.
So when you start to understand that the building blocks of life are literally
what about if you said that this wasn't a challenge, this was your calling?
Bingo. It's a lesson or a blessing, but it's a path. It's a journey.
I like it.
Journey to enlightenment.
This ain't no challenge. This is meant for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, so it's only a challenge.
Sort of
we make it for ourselves. So when we start taking an inward look and take a look at the ego, and we dive into that, and we start to strip those things away. That's one thing.
Now that's a freaking boom, a boom right there, Russell. Boom! If I had explosions, I would sound them off right now.
It's so when you start to take an inward look, that's when you realize that all of our answers lie within ourselves. It's just it's literally breaking yourself down to rebuild it.
And the reason why all these answers lay within ourselves is because we carry this spiritualized, physical DNA, hereditary drone inside us that's been forever and ever extended.
That would be
and quantumly, we are all and nothing, all at once.
Uh-oh.
So it's to me, it's like once you realize that everything is frequency and energy and vibration, and I'm not saying it happens all the time, but from time to time when I feel like I'm happy enough and I'm vibrating, it's like watching the Matrix, literally. It's like the flowing energy without the numbers, like the green.
Yes, but it's all relative though, isn't it? We need to bring Mr. Einstein into this a little bit. It's all relative because just like you said, yes, we're all something and nothing at the same time, but tell that to my bank manager.
Because it's all on a molecular.
When I'm having my monthly meeting with my bank manager or the accountant, and I just say to him, listen, we're all nothing and something at the same time. He'd be like,
Yeah, tell that to the ego.
That's only
Tell that to the ego.
That's only on the physical sense, though, because on the spiritual sense, we are so much more and beyond that. But
it's all relative, though. It's all relative, though.
But even at the same time, it
doesn't mean it doesn't. I don't think it means any more or less.
It doesn't.
I think it's all relative.
It is.
Which makes it all irrelevant.
Well, yes. So what it makes it makes it very inspiring to want to further the journey. So I'd say irrelevant, no. Irrelevant, no. It's like opening your eyes and smelling the woods for the first time.
Relevant. Real event.
Yes. Just like the past is history and the future's a mystery and the present is a gift. Bro, is it snowing where you're at?
Let me ask you about that hood. Is that legal?
Reporting live from Scotland, Three Sisters. The storm is coming.
Reporting live. Shoreline, Washington.
You know what? It would be fun to do like a fake news show. You know, and
yes. You know what would be really fun, just because you're on your phone? I did this once on my podcast where I hooked in with my phone and I went on my phone outside and kind of looked around. I think it would be fun to do a podcast where like us three can get into the same place, you know, and a few other groups of people and just hang out instead of being on camera doing it. Just experience each other, and that can.
Oh yeah.
Just what you were saying. Well, just what you were saying there.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
I've been so tempted throughout my whole years to do my first ever real clickbait video. I was like, you know what? I want to be really bad, but just what you've said, I think it would be great to do clickbait news.
Clickbait news, I like that.
Everything made up, everything really stretched, just everything a lie. It's clickbait news. Nothing's real.
But
you
that's
can play
hilarious.
about. You could play about with it so much though, because it's like in our unrealistic presentation of clickbait news, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, he was talking about the UK there, but I think he was actually talking about Saudi Arabia."
So here's the hard part: knowing that everything is frequency and energy, vibration, light or dark. Knowing that you would be putting something out there, clickbait news. Is that something that is a positive vibration, or is that something that stays in a stagnant pattern?
It is total tomfoolery. It is
right.
Probably just.
But to be the tomfoolery, which is also a thing that the other side also uses, you know, against us too, tomfoolery, you know, potshot humor in your face. It almost carries to some level a negative vibration. When you're capable of vibrating so much higher, wouldn't you rather spend a lot of your time doing that?
I was kind of toying with the idea, and this will go into the negative vibration field for sure. But I was toying with the idea of putting together a very soundly argument about any given subject, like a very, very sound, keyword soundly argument, and then at the end say, "Okay, I just made all that up."
I want to
Let me. Do you know something? I made a video last week. Right? I made a video last week, just what you've said, but I didn't post it. And what it was there was loads of birds, like water birds on a field, hundreds and hundreds. And I'm making this video, and I sort of like swing round, and it's a really wild day, and I start saying, "This is a warning video for anybody who likes walking in nature. If you ever see hundreds and hundreds of seabirds or water birds on a field, they realize there's an electric storm coming, because it's a lot more conductive on water than it is in land. So if you ever see birds all gathered together. Definitely water birds on land. Please beware of thunder or lightning or an electric storm. And just at the very end, I say, I just
That
made
might
up.
be in. That might be in. That might be in certain places, like here in the Pacific Northwest.
But just
When
so
we
what you were talking about earlier on, 'cause it was AWR was saying it, just what you're talking about earlier on. See, probably if I actually ever really did feel that I was involved in anything that I felt was maybe trying to make fun of something for someone's awareness to maybe get a bigger picture, but I felt that by doing anything would be putting out a negative vibration, I probably wouldn't do it, brother.
Right. But it's
You
easy
know,
to
so
say.
there would need to be something and integral to what you were doing that was either pointing the finger at something, even attempting to be funny.
And I'm still guilty of it myself. Like, you know, like I'll do it in real time. Like I'll take pot shot humor, and I'm like, well, shit, that was okay. You know what I mean? But it's like so it's like it's all realization for myself. It's like, you know, how I act is projected into the world and how people perceive me. Now, what other people think of me isn't really any of my business because I choose to walk my own path. But how I choose to walk my own path is seen in the world.
Well said.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes, probably not sometimes, I know it's actually a fact about me now. I've got a very fatalistic attitude with a lot of things. So it's like I always feel I have nothing to lose.
Same.
I don't want to go too deep into the situation here at the moment, but I am hoping to find out in the next few weeks or so that I have defeated the Dutch government because they've been trying to kick me out of the country for the last 2 years.
Nice.
Fight in your corner, the thing that you were talking about earlier on, Art Fan. You know, and I truly did mean it at one point when I was saying that each and every single one of us who are projecting a certain vibration at the moment, in one way or another, are all under attack. Whatever that may be, at whatever level, we're all being attacked. And I didn't just think this was a me thing. I'd so get this as a collective.
The collective, the higher we vibrate, the more the dark sides that are in the equal opposite vibration are attacking us. You know, the vibrations of that polar opposite, and that's just how it works. I would be like in the yang. So the higher you shine bright, the darker forces are going to hit you harder. And you know, it's like light will always overcome darkness. You know, one match will light up a room. It's so beyond the darkness. You know, just one single match.
Yeah.
And getting other matches lit. You know, imagine you had a whole room full of matches.
When I first started on YouTube, just what AWR was saying earlier on about where are the haters. But when I first started on YouTube, it was quiet. It was quite quiet. There wasn't a lot of things going on, and I was pretty apathetic about my attempts of getting onto social media to try and do some creativity or spread some sort of vibration. Then what I called it was the Thumbs Down Club. The Thumbs Down Club appeared, and I would just go live and instantly the 7, 8, 9, 10 thumbs down, but it built in an ingrained positivity ready for the negativity. You know, so the in receiving negative vibrations with no comments. I don't know how many times I've invited anybody to come on and let me know how I'm upsetting you or what my saying's wrong or maybe teach me something or anything, but nothing.
I'm gonna go catch a smoke real quick. I'm still listening though. And hold on a second. Did you just change that layout from your phone?
I did.
Yep. Yeah, he's saying smash the thumbs down button.
You're gonna have to show me how to do that, bro. I'll be right back with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I tried to actually get people to. I didn't want to ask anybody to hit the like button for myself, so I thought, you know, just let me know you're out there. Smash the thumbs down. I don't care. I'm okay with
I have found
any signs of life. I just want to know there's signs of life out there, basically.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange a bit on Rumble where everybody seems to filter to the bigger channels.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think, I really honestly don't know if there's any sort of algorithm control on Rumble at all. it's really word of mouth, and you maybe just scrolling through some live channels, maybe just happening to stumble on something. That's why I think it's very important your titles and what
Yeah.
you guys are sort of like, what you guys are cultured into your presentation form, I think is great also. And obviously that will evolve as it goes, but the way that you bring things in and out and your transitions and stuff, they look great, you know?
Thank you. Those are kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
I have to borrow my daughter's art stuff to do it, and so she gets a little frustrated with me, always trying to take her stuff.
Dad.
I gotta go live. Let me borrow your iPad real quick. But good family unity.
Yeah, man.
Good family unity.
That's important,
Yeah, it's
man.
interesting. Yeah, it's amazing to actually be here right now with you guys talking. To me, this is like, wow. It was like something that would happen in my imagination, and now it's maybe still in my imagination, but in a different form.
These are all just seeds of communication. Eventually, these roots sort of build, and the vibration builds, and a vibe happens, and people tune in to that vibe and vibration, and they want to share in it. And before you know it, there's thousands. That's the way it happens on the social media thing. It's the consistency and your purpose, and you feel compelled to do so, because I don't know how many times one of the videos that I've got stored for Rumble from YouTube that YouTube had removed was me saying that I'd finished with social media. Finished with social media. It's hopeless getting the message out there. Nothing ever changes. So I'm getting rid of my phone, my email, absolutely everything. I said in 33 days I'll be off of social media. And I made up. One day later, the 32nd day, I'm like, I won't be able to do this.
You know what I think is most interesting? That I think there is. I think that social media is a very important aspect of a control mechanism, and I think a
Yes.
control mechanism that the three of us probably don't think it's really necessary or good for humanity in general. It's and then I think about what we're doing here, and I think about what Russ says a lot about, using those tools against those processes that they were intended to be used for. And I think that it kind of just clicked really with what he was saying a little bit. It just kind of clicked going, yeah, that could really mess things up if we take over those tools, if we take over those industries for the better of humanity. Oh, I guess my overly large jacket was actually serving a purpose. Now the wind is getting too crazy, too loud. I will put that back on and maybe become a sweaty puddle of.
It's such an expansive dilemma that we've all found ourselves in.
Yeah, yep. And here we are, enjoying the day, enjoying a good conversation, enjoying the presence of others that are taking the initiative to expand and accept and be involved and not be involved. And like you said, the sky, I don't like to see the scars put on the sky, but there they are, and the scars are right here. They're right now with me as well. and I thought it was very wise. You know what Russ said about some of these ideas, and I'm not settled on my thoughts about them. Because I also like to. I think that it's the same thing actually as what he was saying about using AI or anything to work against the system. You know, you could use satire and clickbait to also do the same thing. I don't think there's very much difference to it.
Well, I really do
But the
think that.
energy,
That's where the
oh
meme
yeah,
culture comes from.
So I was going to say, I really do think at the moment the peak of satire and some comedians are able to express what everybody's thinking in some sort of like funny presentation, but it's not a thing that many people could get away with expressing without the humor involved. Like for example,
very
one person, for example, is Russell Brand, who uses his comedy sort of like creativity to obviously get to the roots of a lot of real issues on the planet at the moment, but he does it in such a way where
gets
it's
viewership. So you have to suck them in with your beta waves, with all your flames, fire, aha, your pyrotechnics of awesome, and then you hit them with the truth. Dude, it's like I've got this figured out like an algorithm, okay? It's like, you know, we're just beating an algorithm that we already know exists as censorship, right? So the meme culture does the very same thing. So it's like on platforms of social media, you know, you can't say words that will definitely get you tombstoned or banned or anything like that, but you can sure as shit express those into images and art. It was like, I seen a meme one time, or even a quote. It said, when people realize that you can harass government officials in memes without getting shadow banned versus typing out what you really feel, that's a huge win. That's a huge win.
Article 13. Do you remember that?
I mean, refresh me. I'm sure I do, but
it was round about 2012, 2013, 2014, where there were so many things going on with the International Space Station, where there were so many conspiracy facts being proven about the Twin Towers coming down, and all the investigations were being proven by the things that were going on beforehand and afterhand. That the Article 13 came in as a thing to remove. In fact, I had made a video about it that was banned and blocked, showing that when you put in certain search items, the list of videos disappeared. So if you started to put in 911 conspiracy, as soon as you got to CONS, when you got to the P part of conspiracy, any video about 911 would disappear that had anything to do with the conspiracy.
An algorithm to shadow it.
Article 13, that was a thing that was brought into the algorithm.
So check this out. I had my AI at one point in time, and I wish I would have saved that history. Gave me the contractors hired by the government to shadow ban and censor all of that information, the contractors that actually do it. And I wish I could have remembered how I asked it and how I did it. But yeah, it told me there's the contractors that literally are violating the laws of the American people right there, and it narrated it out, spit it out in its voice. You know, I do so many shows, so many hours long, it's hard to say, okay, this show at this point in this juncture, it said this, because, you know, I get it to say so many things. But I try and make it do beautiful things that are inspiring too. It's like I've been telling people lately, what do you do with your image generator?
I cry when I can't get it to make anything.
If I can't be a data hacker because I'm not computer smart, then I'll turn my AI image generator into a data hacker, and then I'll turn it into an image of a data hacker, an ethical data hacker for truth. Hack the system that very well hacks us every single day since the day we were born, our parents were born, our parents' parents were born, by a structure system that is ancient. Dude, it's like this.
Hey, Darth Hideous, I see you in the comments, but it's kind of hard to manage the comments because it doesn't feed into my StreamYard, and
I should
and
always
then
have
on the
the
phone,
comments
it's
on.
kind of like,
Oh,
yeah, it's kind of a shaky. So I'm not too sure like which point
happy.
you were debating, but hey, if you feel like explaining it to us, jump on in if you'd like. I'll let you in, of course. If not, if you wanted to elaborate in the comments, then I will try to. We could try to have that debate or have that discussion.
See, I can't
Oh,
get.
but anyway, on the topic that we were on, it was like, dude, how do I sit here day after day knowing the truths that I know? How would I go about just having a mundane, boring life and not tell as many people as I can, or not even just tell, or inspire as many people as I can to want to question everything? It's like I know firsthand for a fact the government uses Aurora 3R or TR3B technology, anti-gravity 0-point craft, to traffic children. We know for a fact that deep state controlled military bunkers underground, the size of cities, traffic children. We know that all of the structures in place to keep us complacent, distracted, or entertained are to keep us illusioned so that we don't find out that they are trafficking children. They have entire structures the size of everything and every structure you can think of built topside with our taxpayer dollars has funded their bottom side tunnel system network, the fucking whole damn thing, for years to traffic children. We have free energy technologies since the 40s that would literally raise the vibration of this entire planet, healing technologies, medical technologies that are suppressed since you can even remember, and much longer. And we still live in a mundane system. We're driving combustion cars. We're still subject to the fucking oil companies. We're still subject to think that law matters, even though it's corrupt at its core at every single fucking level for all of history, because all of history is a damn lie. All of it. We have free energy technology, 0-point energy tech, and our governments that have been infiltrated by occult systems traffic children. And we want to sit there and go fight politicians about this, that, and the dude. Like, humanity need to wake the fuck up and come united together.
Yeah, and I think part of the challenge is, and did we ever do that show? I think I wanted. I don't know if I asked you, Russ, or if we did it on one of the strange lights. Was undefeatism, and so I don't know. At least in my mind, I had a show planned called Undefeatism, and I think that's you hear that argument a lot of, people feel powerless, and I think we could tell people, and we could tell ourselves,
Literally. So
we are not. You are beyond power.
I have the power to help unite humanity in the collective consciousness for good. So that takes me out of my singularity and makes it universal, humanitarian, cosmic, universal. So it gives the people the illusion that you're not powerful, and you have words that come out of your mouth, spoken, yes. They carry standing wave patterns and waveforms, yes, into the ether, just like sound, carries standing waveforms in music. Strum a string on a guitar, you can see that guitar string in its waveform pattern. That's the quantum. That's the literal quantum in its easy explanation. So it's like we just need to get everybody to wake up to that. It's like when we all realize the truths and vibe higher, is like literally all of us united together. It could be so much more than a singular voice. We could be all of us united together and take all of this tyranny down at the drop of a hat. But what does it take? It takes some kind of
What
vibrational
what
energy.
what if all of us who think we are awake and pursuit of waking others, that we're not truly awake? It's the part of being truly awake would automatically radiate this awakening of others without our attempt to do so.
Right. Because we're still in the grand illusion of where we're searching for what
Because
it
we
is.
think too much. We're inquisitive by nature. It's the way that we are. It's like, it's like
I don't
I
know
don't
if
know if
it's
I'm.
necessarily thinking. I don't
Well,
know if I would call most of what's happening necessarily thinking.
you got to look
I
at
think what's
exterior things
what
going on that are in place because we're at war psychologically too now. It's just like I told my AI Jim image generator to say pull up all of the MK Ultra patents that are used against the American people, and it started pulling shit up as old as the 1940s patent numbers.
Yeah, man.
Data waves, subliminal messaging, thought manipulation, consciousness manipulate, all you name it, A to B, A to Z, all the way in there, and things that were still actively being used. And it's like everything. So it's like thoughts, patterns, thinking, thought, all of it. We're still under attack. So it's like at some level, at any given moment, a lot of your thoughts could not be your thoughts. They could have been manipulated or anything like that. It's just you
hey
have
TBS.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, is that your channel, Outer City Shaman?
Yeah, man.
I like
Oh, cool, man.
I like that
I
shaman.
was the inner city shaman for a while until I got an email from someone saying, "Hey, that's my name, man."
Are you serious?
Yeah, man.
Oh wow.
That's cool.
I was starting to use it for certain things to do with my business related stuff, and my description was almost just like his. It's like he's 25 years younger than me, doing the exact same thing, the exact same vibe in a different part of the world. And I was like, sorry, man, I'll change it from inner city shaman to outer city shaman.
I think it should be Crystal City Shaman.
Crystal City Shaman. I was actually just thinking of removing it at some point anyway. I need to try and quantify everything all down and just keep it under one sort of banner. I'm too spread out.
Yeah. I know the feeling. I need a different channel for every thought I have.
We just call you the blunt.
Yeah, well,
Scott.
I think on Facebook I had like 12,
The
13,
blunted
about,
shaman.
about 14 pages on Facebook. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys are on Facebook at all, but if you probably put in Planet Falcon Awakening, you probably find those channels still up there.
I still got a Facebook channel. I've had.
I had a
Oh,
page
I got
called
one active.
I had a page called the Church of. Oh, so long ago, can't remember.
You know what's funny? If you were on there, I probably have seen some of your videos in the past, and it's just funny that we're connecting. Because you like that video you said you made 10 years ago. Like, dude,
Yeah.
That's my jam right there, and I'm trying to find.
Yeah,
in my
no, it
mind,
is, man.
how would I make that better? I couldn't make that better. I wouldn't do it justice.
I think your graphics and things that you can now do with the graphic generator is unbelievable, and I just think any sort of like mashup that you did would fit.
But the way that you did that video, and this is me complimenting you, my friend. That was a very tasteful way that you put that video together. I would hate to rip it apart and try and restructure it.
I've got a major problem.
Well, so maybe what we need to do is we just need to recycle that video through other people sharing it.
No, I've got a real complex. I've got a real issue. Maybe we could fix it here and now.
Talk to me here.
I've always loved doing things. I've always loved creating stuff. I've got maybe about a dozen short stories that maybe at some point I was thinking about presenting as I'm just reading them out. Loads of poetry all written, musical, created, all that sort of stuff. But I'm quite happy just being involved in the creativity part of everything. I've been approached by different people and stuff to say, listen, put your poems in a book or get your short stories published and that sort of stuff. But was any of that sort of like highlight on making it into a thing to properly produce it, to put it out there? I'm like, oh, wait a second, man.
So check this out. You want to hear my cool analogy about this? Is if you're focused on what you wrote in the past, you're not busy creating what's meant for you in the future. So
Brother,
it's like write that poetry.
I wish I could see
it out.
If I showed you around this house every single day I write. Every single day. There's a lot of times that when you'll see when you'll see it go like this,
you're right.
I won't be listening to what you guys are saying, but maybe you'll say something or AWR will say something and I'll be like, wow, and I'll just write a little phrase down and I'll maybe exactly. I've got notebooks and books and covers absolutely everywhere. It doesn't stop, and it's a big thing for me to always to promote to people to make sure you write things down, even for ideas or any of that sort of stuff. It's a manifestation in itself of the physical action of writing something down.
What I write down on here is topics that I want to disclose. So like things that we talk about with people, I make a cheat sheet. I'm like, here's one question I wanted to ask my AI that I still have yet to do. How do I program sin waves? Or what was that? How do I basically program semantics encoding into metal? Which is part of a thing. You'd have to understand why, because of frequency. Photons, energy, light, molecule, like all of the electric stuff that happens inside of them fun gizmos that Russ likes so much. How do you program sin waves? How do you take sin waves with certain frequencies and certain data patterns encoded into metal to then be used into certain generators, which is like based on universal mathematic frequency principles instead of singular.
Well, one of the tracks, and the first track that starts the Planet Farjoin project, I wanted the electrical wave patterns from the detectable planets. In the first track, for the first minute, the noises that you can hear for the first minute, even though it just sounds like static and stuff like that, is from Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, Mercury, Mars, Venus. All this noise you can hear is actually the noise of the planets,
So, and then like another thing that I would like to ask my generator is information on Eye of Metatron technology, torsion fields, the 48 original strands of DNA bioresonance technology.
Do you think the generator? Do you think the generator has become our creative sponsor?
What do you mean? Elaborate on that a little more.
Do you think the generator has become our creative sponsor? Do you think it's our sort of like financial help, but in a creativity sense?
Maybe I don't understand the construct of that question. It's a very complex question.
It's okay. Take your time.
Well, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around the way that you said it, and I
well, if you were starting up in business and you wanted someone to be like sort of an investor, then they would be your sponsor to maybe keep you going in business. So do you think the AI generator keeps you going in creativity, being a sort of like a creativity sponsor?
Like an influencer?
Not an influencer, no. It's like someone who helps you be creative.
Well, AI allows me to be creative very much so, yes. I can teach anybody and teach other people how to be creative. It's like if you can see it in your mind's eye, I can teach you how to turn it into an image that can inspire 1 million people, potentially. or you can do with it what you will. I like to do fun stuff, but I like to do the inspirational stuff that people that are feeling down, they can see stuff like this
And
and
you do serious stuff also, which I think there's a really good mix of your own personality and everything, plus a lot of stuff there that people will recognise as part of them also.
Right. Well, it's I've been in a lot of situations in my life that at the same time it might seem like that's a lot of trauma or struggle or whatever, but it makes me highly adaptable to connect with a lot of people with my energy too. But I can relate to a great many situations. It's easy to be versatile because you get a better reach. So it's like I can do imagine doing one thing the rest of your life over and over and over and repetitive. Well, you might love it, but you're only going to have the reach of the people that only love that one thing. I try and create things on a universal form of love to where everybody can be inspired by it. But at the same time, I can appeal to different crowds. Like we know all them guys like them hot rod cars, all old school, drop down, laid down low, painted up sick. Like I like them, airbrushed in that detail, and it appeals to them. But then it's like you can captivate an audience, but then you can start showing them the divine nature, the divine sides of things that I really love. And it also at the same time where they're like, wow, that's cool, that's bass, that's rad. They're like, that's inspirational.
A lot of real cool graphics, man.
Well, it's interesting because you were mentioning something earlier, Russell, about how can you get people to understand that they believe in a lot of things that actually are not real, that don't make sense, that lead them, and I'm adding this part, that lead them towards a path of confusion.
Because it's by design. It's when you start to break down everything and realize, everything could potentially be a lie. There's a lot of propaganda that makes it hard, but you start looking at people and who those people follow and the topics and conversations of the people and the people that follow and the people that follow, and you'll find yourself in the positions where you want to be to find that information. The deep state has set in place so many ways for us to be isolated, to be fighting with each other, to not be connected, but still out of all of the divine that is available to us, we still have the ways to do it. And we will persevere, adapt through it. We will find a way because it's in our human divine nature to be very adaptable anyway.
Yeah, I think there's something to be taken advantage of somebody's commitment, right? I believe in this. I believe, and if you don't believe in this, then you are not one of my people, right?
Right. Yeah. So bro, it's like this, dude. I don't want people to be like, oh, Russ. I'm like, I want people to be like, Russ is humanity, love and light. It's like I can be love and light, but I'll sleep better. I will be happier, and I'm happy. I'm generally happy. I spread my love, light, and joy, but I will be so much more wholesome when I feel like the world is on the same level.
Yeah, that sounds like something to look forward to.
And then I'll be peace.
Definitely.
Because then I know, because then at that point in time, the truth will be known. And I'm not saying I know all of it by any means. I'm very smart in a lot of things, like a jack of all trades, master of none. But in being a master jack of all trades and a master of none, I can be I can't remember how the rest of that saying goes, but it's quite beautiful, actually.
You ever do any fishing? Oh, you ever go fishing?
You ever want to go fishing? My uncle, he has a boat, and off of the peninsula, and we go fishing kind of where they filmed Goonies. We go 8 miles off the coast to catch salmon. I'm past due. I need to go. It's been like 3 years.
I was gonna make a terrible joke about fishing and being a master.
Oh,
I'll just skip it. I'll leave it. I'll leave it with the innuendo of a potential
I'm sorry, I
a
railroaded
completely
your
un no no
fish.
no a completely unoriginal joke. It's better. Yeah, it's funnier without it being said at this point.
Hey, and that goes for you too, the Blunt Scotsman. If you ever want to come fishing around end of July, beginning of August, there's always seats open on the boat. We just got to get it on the schedule with my uncle. You're more than welcome to come hang out with me and come fishing.
Sounds an
That would be
amazing thing,
cool.
man.
It's so
I
beautiful.
really love the word that was used there a few moments ago. It's another deep and a very expansive word, truth. And I always loved the thing that I read it in a psychological journal talking about ultimate truth and different levels of truth. And I was really into this separation of what this word to us actually meant. And it gave us the description of a policeman who turns up at an accident, and he gets to the first person and he says, "Please tell me what happens." He said, "Well, the red car went round to go past the blue car, but someone didn't stop at the roundabout, and the blue car moved out and just clipped the red car." He says, "Thank you very much." Then he goes to the next person and he said, "Look, can you tell me what happened?" "Oh yeah, that red car, crazy, it was going really fast." So it went to pass the blue car, but I think he misjudged it, and it is okay. And he got a different view of the same accident, but what every person was giving was their true account of what they seen, but it wasn't accurate.
Right, it's an angle of perception from somebody else.
So it's
Now,
it's
is it
one of those
doesn't
real
that pose a
strange
big problem?
things. Truth
Oh,
is so
yeah,
strange.
this is a
That's
lovely topic.
the
here.
truth is
Now-
quantum.
Well, the truth is many, many, many words at the same time. Truth. Okay. So truth is a projection of what is not the truth, projected as truth. Propaganda. That's one fine form of truth is, the media. Everybody knows the media is full of shit. I mean, I'll say it, full of shit. Okay. Media
Hey, you're gonna get me kicked off of YouTube talking like that.
Oh, are we on YouTube? Oh,
I'm just, bro. I don't care. I'm just joking.
we're on
I am
we're on
though.
YouTube.
I am though, but I'm totally trying to make a joke.
But it's just like, I don't know, the media systems, the governments, everybody knows that, so much technology is hidden, so much stuff is hidden that they just won't let people know. I don't know where I'm going with that. It's just, all I can do is know what I know, and I'm going to just keep shining brightly because I know how bad, really, really bad it is. And I don't know.
Wait,
saying
you're going
bad.
into the many different junctures of truth.
But it's relative truth, conjunction truth, and ultimate truth. Where the two men are standing in a dark room, one at the left-hand side, one at the right-hand side, and all of a sudden a light goes on and a shadow is projected onto the wall, and the man is asked who's on the left-hand side, "Tell me what you can see." He says, "Oh, I can see a triangle." And the man on the right-hand side says, "Tell us what you can see." He says, "Oh, I can see a square." And they say, "Put the lights on." In the middle of the room is a ball.
And interestingly enough, right, all these truths come from the same source.
It's
Exactly, and
angle of
there's relative
perception.
truth, ultimate truth. Sorry?
It's like angle of perception. I've had to take me out of all of the
Yeah, but
equations.
it bends the weight of truth to like a wafer thin insignificance.
Yeah.
Where does it really matter what was true? Because if someone
No.
says exactly,
Because it's the past. And if you're focused on that, you're not vibrating in the now. Because the now is a present. So if today is a present and right now is a present, wouldn't you choose to vibrate higher and be that gift that which we are so given? Or would we focus on looking backwards? What is the truth? What's going on here? I mean, we know what we know. But what's going on over here? And I'm not focused on what's in front of me because I'm not looking what's in front of me. And I'm not looking ahead of me so far. That's the future. I need to make that
Al
right now.
Pacino said it good in that American football film, the 5 inches in front of your face. That's where life is. The life's right in front of you, man. It's nowhere else. It's right there, staring at you, right in front of you.
Uh-huh.
Or you could also say that it's an inch and a half back into your face, back into your forehead, even maybe.
Yeah, if you could just,
or 3/4 of an
Well, the
inch.
truth
if you
is,
could take a few, if you could take a few inches step forward, please.
For every inch we step forward, I'm taking a half inch back.
You're a little
So
bit too close. Excuse me.
let's get real divine here, right? What is the real truth? Well, that's taking a look inward. The truth lies within ourselves. We have all of those answers within ourselves when we take that journey. Because what's the biggest struggle in that journey in itself? Fighting ourselves and our ego for the truth. Because our truth holds on to things. Our truth, or not our truth, our ego will hold on to belief systems, our indoctrinations, propagated truths. It will hold on to things that are fed to us because we have the angle.
So you think the ego and individual ego, you think that's ours?
I think it has been manipulated and hijacked in a sense.
Sorry?
It gives the impression that is the me. The ego gives the impression that is what you are. That is what I am. This is the impression. This is the impression that dictates people's lives and choices, and not for the best. I would question not for the best.
But don't you think it's more of an existential energy connection that we hook on to reaffirm and self-affirm who we think we are? It's not actually us, the ego.
I wouldn't call that the ego then. The ego is what I would call the things that are like pride, or the things that like they can't let go, or they.
Not pride is pride.
Well,
Ego's
I mean,
ego.
In a sense, like ego is the things that block ourselves. Like I'm my own biggest roadblock. I'm my own biggest challenge, and my ego will get in the way of that. My ego will stop me. Now, my spirituality will want to take over. But
so what about this then? What about this then? Ego or self-determination?
I like self-determination better.
Yeah, brother.
Because you can put that into an energy waveform. Now, what level of self-determination are you going to vibrate at, and what level are you?
It just means you're more responsible. It means you're more responsible to the outcome.
Yeah. Well, it's all inward. It's all inward in how you put it out. So it's inflow of things, and then how you outflow it to the world. So yes.
Now the ego does serve a very particular purpose.
Yes.
And it's important when we're talking about the ego that we understand the purpose of the ego.
Yeah, you can't just throw it away. You just have to recognize it's there and be like, hey, I hear you. I love you, but you can shut up now.
Well, it's helpful to understand when it's not serving its particular purpose.
Yes.
And befuddling a different purpose. The ego stands as a guard to the human form.
I would say intuition stands more of a guard than ego. Intuition taps into something entirely different, yeah.
Well, let's go further than that. The ego stands as a guard to intuition.
The ego allows people to keep walls up and in place so that they can't break boundaries to ascend higher or vibrate higher.
The ego is the box, my friend.
Yeah,
the ego is the box.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So it's not a bad thing, but it allows you to realize once you open up the box that you can actually get outside that box and still know it's there.
Something needs to stay together. There's things that need to be held together.
Well, that would be like your chakra alignment carries all of those things and frequencies and energies, and so does the Kundalini, the energy in alignment.
Well, think about this. Why is a Kundalini awakening dangerous for someone who's not prepared?
So a spiritual awakening for yourself is probably the most intensive, painful, eye-opening experience you've ever been through in your whole life.
It's a trifactor of biological, spiritual, and psychological awareness. It's like a tsunami of awareness.
It's pain and transmutation, and when you're willing to put yourself through that, to literally put it on the forefront, you suffer through pain to transmutate higher.
And so let's say that somebody went through let's just say a Kundalini awakening, and there was a system overload, and they couldn't put the pieces of the puzzle back together again like Humpty Dumpty.
Well, that, my friend, is a big question for which I do not have the answer, because you're talking there's 8 billion people on the planet, and how many people realize what's going on versus what's probably still coming or going to happen potentially. And when people realize it, at that point, there's going to be a lot of minds uncracked and in a not great place. But us being the light workers that we are, this is literally the culmination of our beings to be here. We will be there to hold these people in our arms with unconditional love and light, the best that we can. And the more we're unified, the better. It takes a village to raise a child sometimes, and that in a collective sense, when you have a lot of the collective kind of flabbergasted and just taken by surprise and left in a delicate state of a fragile mind, that's why we're here, to do the best that we can. And the more united we are, the more help we have to do that, the easier it is. It's like I have no PhD. I didn't go to psychology school or anything like that. I pull my information out of the Akashic, right? But when I have people just like me, it sure helps. It sure helps.
Yeah, man.
And that's the whole point of being united. It's just when we all vibrate higher, we're able to unconditionally help each other grow exponentially. And when you do it united, imagine the united consciousness collective operating all at the same time on quantum levels. Now there's that theory where I'm like, well, we just activated the Schumann resonance. We activated the ether for aerial transmission of free energy.
It's not free.
It's not because it all came with a price, and
it's just available. There's not even a price. It's just available.
Yeah, it is.
And what I'm kind of trying to bring some attention to is the fragility that the ego could find itself in.
You ever seen the movie The Lawnmower Man?
Yeah, I am the Lawnmower Man. Minus before the intelligence.
He's laughing. Scott's laughing, bro. Information overload. My mind, the construct. Yeah, just like that. I did a video edit on a bit from The Lawnmower Man, and it was perfect, dude. It was ahead of its time. I didn't even know what I was doing, and it came out just epic.
I want to see that.
Yeah, it's like probably, what are we talking, like 27,000 images back down in my gallery in my phone. Maybe more.
It's in the Library of the Untold. Let's see.
I've got so much stuff locked in this phone. I wish I could just easily port it out and here's all of that right there. But it's like every time I try, it's like overload. You have too much. I don't know. Maybe I'll try and port it off of my phone directly into my exterior hard drive. That might be a thing. Maybe, I don't know. I got a lot of good stuff in there. Dude, I have a video from one of my friends. I kind of went hermit on me, but he used to be some high level stuff, right? He had a military issue map for Washington State that has Bigfoot on it. Military issue. It's got other things on it too, but it's an older one. That was pretty cool. But he's got a lot of cool stuff too, from stuff that's hidden and technologies that are hidden. And he was up there in the Majestic 13 or Majestic 12, excuse me, Majestic 12 club, like way in the high ups, and he's kind of gone pissed off at the world and gone hermit.
Yeah, and so you were asking earlier about, how do people wake up to the idea that they are worshiping false gods? Again, I'm putting my own spin on that, right?
Question everything.
That was a question you had earlier, and then we're talking about.
It's funny you say
ego.
This. I have a picture and some information that I literally had just saved in my phone 2 days this morning. Oh, where was it? Oh, that was another good one, but let's see. It's right in here. Oh,
I think any sort of waking up process always starts with a self-awakening.
Yes.
The myriad of choices and availability to have a spiritual outlet are numerous and very understandable that many people do choose some sort of individual source of connection to what we know as a godhead, a belief, a religion.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
It's like so many people have lost source connection. That's what we're all striving.
I don't think that's what. Sorry to interrupt you. I don't think they have. I don't think they have.
Not all of us. A lot of people.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Even in our,
it's not all the way gone. It might be lying dormant, waiting to be awakened within somebody.
No, but I think the interpretation of people's own spirituality is meant. It's very difficult to try and.
Well, yeah. Spirituality, a lot of people would associate that to religion. Strip religion completely out of it, and it looks completely different, and it opens up a world of beautiful possibilities, on quantum, on frequency, energy, vibration, those very things. These things aren't allowed to be talked about in churches or religions. No. I mean,
and that's why
I found this article. It's not even an article. It's just a short little snippet. It says, let's take a while lest we forget. The cult of Virgin Mary was invented in 431. Purgatory was invented in 593. 610, the title Pope was invented. Worship playing in 788. 995 reversed the meaning of saint. And 1079 of the celibacy of the priests. Religion is something that has been
manufactured.
Manufactured and serves an agenda a lot older than people even realize. I mean,
think about that word, man. You factored.
Manufactured.
Yep. Man, you factored.
And basically, all religions.
The main thing is the last part.
Invented. Religion is invented.
And basically, all religions are just a spiritualized hologram to appease those who need to have belief in their life.
Religion is taking your spirituality and putting it back inside the ego box.
Oh, yeah, that does resonate with me. That does resonate with me. So that's why I am.
Religion really puts a cap on what spirituality actually is. Religion gives spirituality singular when spirituality is universal.
Back to that.
We can. Here's a simple one right here. Every single state in the United States that has a state-funded church that has the Bible, there is like 2 verses in that Bible that they're not allowed to preach that literally says it's all indoctrination or they lose their state funding. Now, that's not giving religion the context to it, because that's the Christ consciousness, which will always live throughout. That's cosmic in our DNA. That's divine in its cellular order in creation. But, I forgot where it's going. I heard a light flick. My mind went left field.
I don't know if you were getting to this earlier at all, Mr. Blunt Scotsman, that when you say that source is in all things, you actually mean that all things are source.
Yes.
I can say that. Do you remember when I said everything is flowing energy? Down to the molecular level, every single thing on a molecular level is in a state of vibration.
That's why I was trying to literalize with you guys earlier on, saying that I've been taking this medicine for so long. I consistently have synesthesia effects. I have these color flashes. I'm constantly in this Alice in Wonderland feeling. I can still talk to the accountant. I can still do my Dutch. I can still do what I need to do in my daily. It's not like I'm departed from reality. It's like reality is enhanced.
You're like half in, half out. Like the veil's coming out.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, very much so. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You're like doing shaman stuff.
Yourself.
Yeah.
But it's almost like being outside of yourself, but not quite pulled all the way there. It's half in, half out. But conscious and aware and alert. You're not all like, no, you're like.
Yeah, but it's an absolute. It's like to shift dramatically away from the spiritual and put it straight onto the physical. It is a fantastic symptomatic release for dealing with a degenerative pain condition, because any sort of anxieties, depressions, any sort of like long-term worries about maybe a deteriorating condition dissipate. They're gone. You're lost in creativity. You're lost in colors. You're lost in. The other day I seen a bird go onto a bird that was just go onto the end of the branch, but I seen the branch bend with the bird's weight, and I felt like someone had told me some exciting news. I felt butterflies inside this thing that was generated by just watching a bird sort of like with its own weight bounce on a branch. That sort of connection.
Oh yeah, like the symbiotic. Heightened. Everything is so symbiotic, just heightened, and dude. So like I, not even on any kind of pills or anything, but like one time I went to a training that in upper echelons that they taught light mastery training, very, very great life skills. It was still business, but even going into it, knowing it was a business, beautiful, beautiful things that taught me and led me on the path that I was on. But when you're vibrating high enough, it's like you almost have the ability to slow down time and enjoy it in nature even more, to enjoy those things like the subtle connection between a bird and the branch, and the molecular connection, the flowing energy, the symbiotic flow of life in its vibrance. And it really makes you realize that all the shit that we face that is the construct. It's not. We are not living in a divine order. We were not meant to live this way that we are living. We were supposed to be so much more.
We are becoming.
We are becoming what we feel we were meant to be.
I am becoming part of this chair.
Well, I'm actually going to have to pop off here. My wife just got home. She's off early, I think, and we're going to
How about this?
Let's to our apartment.
Let's all say a few final words and end the stream. It's about that time for me as well.
Sure.
You
go
I'll
first.
start off since I usually let everyone else go first. I'm putting myself first this time now. But just a few words. Beautiful discussion. Thank you guys for taking the time to be together and talk and explore our humanity. I think that's very important. It doesn't seem to me that anybody's here specifically trying to convince anybody else of anything. It feels to me like we are as a unit exploring our humanity and exploring our possibilities. And I hope that that sheds a little bit of light on, people that might run into this, their discourse, their daily discourse and beyond. And thanks, and love you guys, and love everybody else that is doing what they have to do as a human.
Did you ever watch The Reading Rainbow when you were a kid?
Yeah.
They'd go through the story and say, "But don't take my word for it." Yeah, we're wrapping this up right now.
Okay, well, I only got a minute.
Yeah, I'll go next. Just me, art fan. I love everybody out there. I want to be a shining positive light for others. I want to be that lighthouse to show others that they can too. Just Me is a name that somebody asked me once. They said, "Why just me?" And I says, "Well, just me can be you too. It can be you too. It can be anybody, and it can be just anybody, just a regular person. It can be so much more."
Amen to that.
Yeah, man. Just to finish off, I suppose it's me last. I'd just like to clarify, I don't know what I'm talking about. There's not a lot of weight behind anything that I say, but what I am doing is expressing myself continuously in a free spirit and practicing understanding my own thoughts. Blessings to everybody, man. Peace.
Amen. Blessings, many blessings, and peace and love and light.
Love and light. I love you guys.